Hey everybody, welcome back to Decks and Bytes. Today we're going to be diving into what is Altered TCG. We're going to go over the revolutionary concepts that Altered's bringing about within the TCG world. We're going to discuss the 6 unique factions that make up Altered. We're going to uncover some gameplay mechanics and share some expert tips. So what is Altered? Altered is a 2-player trading card game set in a fantasy universe where each physical card carries a unique QR code that unlocks its digital twin, transforming the way that you play this TCG. When you scan the card, you're able to not only have it physically, but also digitally, creating a phygital experience where you have a combined physical and digital asset. And this is going to be important because of some of the revolutionary concepts that are being released, such as scanning the card. You're able to do print on demand, and you're able to request more of those individual cards to create play sets or play with friends. You're able to use Marketplace and sell that digital asset to someone else that can also request that through the print on demand. So they have it physically and digitally. So the 6 factions are going to be Axiom, Lyra, Ortis, Muna, and Yasmir. Axiom focuses on the tech-savvy strategist with a little bit of engineering. Combines token generation and counters, where you're trying to boost up your expeditions, but also counter your opponent's moves. Bravos is more of the venturer type, and in this faction, you're focusing on using certain abilities such as Seasoned and boosting your characters up. So using a combination of on-card abilities and boost, and this is one of the main factions that uses a lot of combinations. So if you like combinations, this faction is going to be for you. Lyra likes to focus on taking risk and being creative. They have a lot of cards within Lyra that have to do with chance. So if you're a risk taker and you like chance and you also like being very creative with the way that you play, Lyra might be for you. Muna is focused on nature and using the abilities such as Anchored, which comes from anchored as in roots from nature, and all of the abilities within that faction focuses on a nature related concept. Ortis is focused on justice and order, creates a lot of logical play, and has to do with tokens and bureaucrats. Yasmir is focused and centered around mystery and magic and has mainly to do with boost and spells. Out of all the factions, Yasmir has the most to do with spells. Which faction speaks most to you? Let me know in the comments below on which faction speaks to your heart. Every deck in Altered is made up of 40 cards. 1 hero and 39 supporting non-hero cards that are all unified by a single faction. At the start of the game, you are dealt 6 individual cards. 3 of those cards you are going to put into your mana zone that is going to be used to play the cards out of your hand. But be careful and choose wisely, because this step right here can be detriment to the start of the game, but for the rest of the game to come. Now we're going to dive into the 5 phases of each day. First, we're going to start with morning. Morning is where you recharge your resources and draw 2 fresh cards. Phase primarily focuses on planning and preparing. The next phase is noon, and this is where you're going to activate special abilities, and in this phase the game shifts and there's a lot of power moves that come about. Afternoon is the primary phase of Altered, where you are now going to play the cards out of your hand or reserve and engage in back and forth turn-based gameplay. At dusk, you're going to compare your stats and advance your expedition if you win. At night, you are going to rest your characters, remove any additional cards from your reserve and landmark, and prepare for the next day. Altered is really like a high-stakes chess match. So some of you may be asking, well, how do I get started in Altered? The first recommendation that I would make is based on getting a starter deck. By getting a starter deck, it's going to allow you to learn the fundamentals of the game, but also have some initial cards to start practicing with your friends. Now you can, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and get on Board Game Arena and start playing with the starter decks for free right now. They offer that without any additional cost. So that is one way to get involved with Altered and try it out. Another way would be to join some online forums, the official Discord, go to your local LGS, and by doing that, you're going to be able to get experience by playing and also be able to talk to other individuals that have already been playing for a while that can offer you a different perspective than your own. My last tip would be is to choose your faction thoughtfully. Really dive deep into each style and different mechanics and gameplay, because your faction is going to dictate what you can and cannot do in the positioning and the direction of each game. So depending on your personality and what kind of style you tend to lean toward, depicts on what faction you should be choosing. One of the things that many people love about this game is that you're able to experiment and learn because of the digital feature. You can experiment online and learn online before you go to your local game stores and meet up and play, so you can get a lot more practice. One of the things that I would like to point out is that this game is made for all combinations of players. If you want to be casual, there's a community for that. If you want to be more of a competitive player, there's a scene for that. So depending on what kind of player you are, there's a community for everyone. So I, as somebody that values art and appreciates the story of an TCG as much as the TCG itself, that's one of the reasons why I got so deep into Altered. But thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me as I kind of broke down in a very quick, compressed video as to what Altered is and what it's not. But just remember, keep strategizing, keep exploring, and keep altering the game. I'll see you on the next one.